Ladies and gentlemen, now today, thanks to the Content Creator Program, we're going to be having a look at the full abilities and synergies for Apocalypse. Now, this character on his base is looking really good. Like, just by himself, man, he's got plenty of stuff that he brings to the table. However, he also has some pretty ridiculous synergies for characters like Storm, Kang, Archangel, Wolverine, Psylocke, and a few others as well. And he also has this ability to turn one mutant per quest into a Horseman, and that comes with like loads of additional upgrades and benefits, and also further enhances some of the synergies that he has with specific mutant characters as well. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack with Apocalypse, man. But this character, I can't wait, man. He's gonna make some champions ridiculous. I think Archangel is already like so stupid. He's so crazy overpowered in any matchup where he can bleed and poison the opponent, and some of the benefits that he's going to get from the Apocalypse synergies are, yeah, just a little bit ridiculous, man. But anyway, let's start off with the base stuff about Apocalypse. So he's got this persistent charge called Genetic Enhancement, and there's a maximum of 4 stacks. So he's going to start each quest with one of these persistent charges. However, if he's a defender, it's 2 of them, and if he's the final boss, it's 3 of them. So whenever you knock out an opponent that's not a robot, you gain an additional 1. So let's say you go into a standard fight and win it, you go from 1 to 2 charges. However, if you fight a mutant champion first off, you can immediately start that fight with 3 charges, and then if you win, you've got all 4 charges you need to be fully ramped up. Plus there's also a synergy with Kang and Cable that allows you to like instantly start the first fight with 4 charges as well. So there are a couple of ways to kind of like cheat the ramp up and just ramp up very quickly. So this persistent charge mechanic, it does kind of a few different things. So it gives you a prowess at the start of the fight, which is 40% increased special attack damage for every stack you have. So at maximum 4 stacks, that's 160% more damage on your special attacks. At 3, becomes stun immune while striking, and the 4 benefit is really cool because it allows him to hit into his opponent's block with a light attack and inflict a stun debuff lasting for 0.8 seconds. So basically, once you got him fully ramped up, man, you can nuke into a blocking opponent and get your combo in, which is really cool, because as soon as you go for that second light attack, then it's going to stun, and then you can just like finish off your combo there. So yeah, that is a really cool effect. Just allows you to get all sorts of ins in various scenarios where it might be a little bit more awkward. So overall, from the persistent charges, there's a lot of nice additional utility and also a lot more special attack damage as well, but also on the base of Apocalypse. So he's got this ability where he's going to develop immunity to bleed, incinerate, and disorient effects over 8 seconds while suffering from them, but then once developed, these immunities persist for the entire quest. So on any like bleed or incinerate nodes, he can get through them, but you need to take like a little bit of damage first. I don't know if this works with like the Nick Fury synergy where you can just like shrug it off, but I imagine this is going to be really good for like suicide masteries as well, potentially, because yeah, you can get rid of that bleed a little bit quicker, and then you don't have to worry about it for any remaining fights, but I'm not too sure. And he also has something very similar to evade. So each time the opponent evades, there is a 10% chance to bypass the evade that increases every time, and this bypass evade persists throughout the entire quest. So the opponent is only going to be able to evade you like a maximum of 9-10 times. I would imagine like some of those evades as well you bypass, so it's like a little bit annoying to ramp up, but eventually in longer scenarios does give him a way to completely counter evade as well. So not too bad there. And also opponents suffer 100% purifiability accuracy reduction, so characters like Kingpin, Agent Venom, Mole Man like can't shrug off debuffs when you're playing Apocalypse, which is really good. And then next up we got his heavy attack. So both hits of this inflict bleed, dealing just under 800 direct damage over 7 seconds, but also refreshes his weakness, poison, concussion, and degeneration effects on the opponent. So yeah, I assume the bleed stacks, that could be quite nice for chaining on heavy damage. The damage is really low on the bleed though, so I don't really expect anything too crazy, but I think with all the other debuffs, man, could turn out to be quite nice as well. So with his special attacks as well, if the opponent is suffering from a damage over time effect, i.e. the bleed, special attack debuffs trigger on activation and last 30% longer, and each hit deals a burst of additional 600 physical damage for each personal weakness, poison, concussion, or degeneration on the opponent. And you can chain your heavy into special attacks as well with the animation, so that's pretty damn nice. So how do you get all these debuffs? That's the question. So with the special 1 and special 2, it's like inflicted debuff determined by the last light or medium attack thrown, but if you're fighting a mutant or if Apocalypse has 4 genetic codes, you trigger both of them. So once you got this guy fully ramped up, you don't need to worry about, you know, doing a specific attack before throwing that, and it should be very quick and easy to get him ramped up. And again, if you do have like the Kang or Cable synergy, then yeah, he just instantly gets ramped up as well. So the special 1, light attack ending combo inflicts a non-stacking weakness, reducing attack rating by 25% for 25 seconds, and the medium attack inflicts a non-stacking poison, dealing 4,500 direct damage and reduces health recovery by 30% over 25 seconds. And then the special 2, you either have a concussion or a degeneration, and the degeneration seems a fair bit nicer than the poison. It's almost 8,000 direct damage over 25 seconds. So I think like the bleed, the poison, the degen, like all of this stuff is going to hopefully add up really, really nicely. And again, for each debuff on the opponent, the special attacks deal more and more damage as well. But also with the special 3, all personal weakness, poison, concussion, and degeneration effects on the opponent are re-triggered at plus 100% potency. So I think it doubles the potency of them and pauses them indefinitely. So yeah, it just looks like you do like a special 1, special 2, like pause all the debuffs, and then you can just go to town. That's pretty much it, and spam special attacks for the additional bonus damage, I think. Yeah, it paused indefinitely, so I don't think there's like an additional timer on that there. So yeah, that seems really, really good as well. But if you don't have any of these effects active, you inflict 2 at random. But again, I think the goal is to put your debuffs on and then special 3 to increase their potency and pause them indefinitely. So yeah, that's really, really nice. He seems like quite straightforward rotation-wise once you ramp up this character. So yeah, we do appreciate that, man. But then we have his Horseman of Apocalypse pre-fight and cross-fight ability. So once per quest, if he has 4 genetic code, he can spend them. So I assume this takes away the genetic code. I really hope it doesn't, but I assume the word spend means you get rid of them there. To place a crossfight on the next fight, and then the next mutant that enters that fight, excluding Apocalypse, becomes a Horseman of Apocalypse for the rest of the quest. Now, the benefits of being a Horseman are plus 100% bleed resistance, so I think that means you don't take any bleed damage, so I think that just means you heal from it, which could be really, really good with willpower. Also, an additional prowess increasing special attack damage by 50%, and for certain characters, maybe like Storm Pyramid X, this is going to be additionally good as well for utility. So yeah, that's really, really nice there. Also, 30% offensive ability accuracy for characters that rely on stuff that is down to chance, like Archangel, Domino, Colossus to a certain extent on converting armor ups as well. This could be crazy, man. This could be really, really good. But also on top of that, go unblockable for 2 seconds when the opponent purifies a debuff. So this might have some interesting uses in certain matchups, and also once per fight, go unstoppable for 3 seconds when struck. So there's a lot of additional power to the base Horseman buff, and this can be applied to any mutant character. However, something to keep in mind is it does have additional benefits for certain specific mutant characters, and we'll talk about those as well. But he also has this the signature ability, and one thing I love about Apocalypse is it looks like this character doesn't need to be awakened to be a really, really good champion, but the sig ability is quite nice to have. So when Apocalypse doesn't participate in a fight, he enters Rejuvenation Chamber to slumber, and at the start of his next fight, he regenerates about 4,000 hit points For each fight, his teammates won while he slumbered, and this can stack up to 2 times. So, yeah, you use Apocalypse, you get the charges, you put somebody, you buff him up into a Horseman of Apocalypse, and then the next fight, he can regenerate about 8,000 hit points there, but then you can just, like, alternate between the 2 characters. So, yeah, that might work out, like, really, really nicely, but again, it doesn't seem like the biggest thing in the world and the craziest regeneration, but yeah, we'll see how this one turns out, man. I'm curious, but one thing I love, again, this doesn't seem essential to the character at all, because you can just use like health potions or just like not get hit and take damage. So yeah, good unawakened champion, man. We always love to see one, but also for his synergies, and this is a big one for Apocalypse, man. He gains 15% attack rating for each mutant on the team, excluding himself, and I imagine the stacks, does it stack a little bit with the new Magneto? I guess it can with like Magneto's pre-fight as well, but yeah, this is really, really big for the character. You got a 4 mutant team, that's 60% more attack. Now, as I mentioned toward the start, he's got a really spicy synergy with Kang, Cable, and Mr. Sinister, so this allows him to start the first fight in a quest just immediately fully ramped up there with maximum genetic code. So yeah, this one looks really, really good for him, but not only for him, man, the Kang and Cable ones look crazy. So Kang, every 4 seconds, Kang gains an indefinite fury buff, granting 20% attack rating, and this ends when reaching 20 stacks of fury, so that is 500% more attack for Kang. That is mad, mate. Kang doesn't have much utility. He's got a nice stun on the special 1, and also the power drain on the special 2, but I imagine with like 500% more attack, he's going to be hitting a lot harder. I cannot wait to see this one, man. Very, very excited for that one. Mr. Sinister increases the potency of degen debuffs by 50%. I really don't think that's going to be like that big for Mr. Sinister, but it's going to be like a nice little booster. And Cable, incinerate debuffs gain 150% potency. Additionally, heavy attacks now inflict degeneration on each hit, and their stack limit is removed. So with Cable, I think the rotation becomes like spam heavy attacks, and you can just stack up like degeneration loads. But I'm not too sure exactly how this one's gonna work. But yeah, this seems like it could potentially be a really, really substantial boost to Cable's damage output, and I've got like a 6-star awakened, I think like 661. So yeah, I'm curious to try that out, man. That should be very, very fun. Now he also has synergies with specific mutants, and these synergies are kind of twofold. They've got like a base thing and also an additional thing if that champion becomes the Horseman as well. So Psylocke basic attacks have a 30% chance to grant a side charge. So yeah, that could be really, really good, especially the burst damage she deals, I think, when like checking off a heavy attack as well. But if she's a Horseman, she gains 50% crit damage rating and 30% attack rating when striking an opponent with 0 power. So it seems pretty nice for Psylocke there. Now, next up, we got the Gambit one. So each time he gains a kinetic charge, there is a 70% chance to gain an additional one, and this has a cooldown of 0.8 seconds. However, if this champion is a Horseman, each charge gain grants 10% perfect block chance up to a maximum of 100%. So yeah, this one might have some uses, man, if you want like 100% perfect block on Gambit, but he also needs to consume those charges to deal damage as well. But after his buff, I don't know, man, maybe this one's going to be a little bit more spicy, but at the moment, I just don't think this is going to be used, in all fairness. Plus, you can only Horseman 1 character, so yeah, I don't really see that one being too spicy there. However, dude, the Wolverine one, Wolverine's personal bleeds have a chance based on critical rating to be critical bleeds, dealing damage based on crit damage rating. But if this champion is the Horseman as well, again, he's got additional prowess, he's got additional ability accuracy, and on top of that, he gets 30% crit rating and 40% crit damage rating. So you're going to see so many more bleeds. Those bleeds are going to be critting like crazy. This Wolverine one looks mad, man. I want a 5-star Wolverine so badly now, bro. I really hope with new incursions crystals we do see him pop up somewhere, because yeah, this one looks nuts for Wolverine. I can't wait to play around with this one, man. Should be really, really fun. But then we got the Archangel one. So Archangel, if you make him a Horseman, already has like 30% additional ability accuracy, and this is going to make his Bleeds and poison trigger much more frequently, which is a huge thing with Archangel to get those neurotoxins, but also each hit of a heavy attack into a stunned opponent has a 10% chance to pause all neurotoxins for 3 seconds. So really the big damage on Archangel is having those neurotoxins active, and this is just going to add, like, what is it, every time you use a heavy attack into a stunned opponent, it's like 6 more ticks on every single neurotoxin. But if this champion is also Horseman of Apocalypse, the neurotoxin stun duration is increased by 30%, so when the neurotoxins do eventually end, you can get like even more heavy attacks for even more bleeds there. So yeah, this looks crazy for Archangel, man. Like, Archangel's already like a bit too good, but this looks nuts, mate. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Oh dude, we got the Storm one as well. So the Storm one, each hit of a heavy attack into a shocked opponent has a 60% chance to inflict an additional shock debuff, dealing 90% of modified attack over 8 seconds. But if this champion is a Horseman as well, shock effects last 50% longer, and heavy attacks refresh all shock debuffs on the opponent. So I think you just need like a what is it, special attack, get the shock, and then like spam heavy attacks, right, with Storm, and then you can just generate like crazy additional shocks and just refresh them. So yeah, this should be like crazy with OG Storm, man. This could really bring her up a fair bit. Then finally, we have a synergy that looks crazy for Pyramid X as well. So after charging her dormant prowess, Storm has a 70% chance to trigger a passive prowess for each prowess buff that is already active, each increasing special damage by 20% for 6 seconds. And if she's the Horseman as well, gains 30% additional crit rating and 20% prowess potency. That looks crazy, man. That's so much more prowess and so much more crit damage for Storm. And Storm, like, she's definitely a lacking character at the moment, but this could bring her up to like the Sunspot Havoc level of damage output, I think, quite easily. So yeah, especially when she's the what is it? The Horseman of Apocalypse as well. So many of these synergies, man. I think like every single one, maybe apart from the Gambit one, looks really exciting. But the Gambit one could be a lot more exciting after his buff, depending on how it functions there. But yeah, dude, Apocalypse looks amazing. Like, by his base, he's just fantastic. And then has all of these ways to make already existing mutants that are pretty damn strong just even more ridiculous. So yeah, I'm just absolutely buzzing to test out this character. But if you did enjoy today's ability breakdown, please do smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated, and let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. But aside from that, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.